Eric Leister of Marinette was in Japan when the quake hit, and he is here now with more of his story. In fact, if you were watching Good Day Wisconsin the morning after the quake and tsunami, you may have heard my conversation with Eric. Welcome back. Glad you made it back safely.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
Let's talk a little bit about what got you in Japan in the first place.
Sure. I was actually in Japan this summer with a touring group called the Young Americans. I was doing performance shows and also workshops with community of kids within Japan. I was working there with performing, but I also met a homestay family on a day off. We started talking and we became friends, and they invited me back to Japan for 3 months.
So you were with that family?
Yes.
Spending some time with them, learning about life in Japan and their culture.
That's basically it.
Okay, so let's then go forward to the earthquake and tsunami. We talked to you about your experience that very morning, but describe what it was like when it happened. What did you feel, and how close were you to everything?
Well, the earthquake happened about 234 miles, I believe, away from Tokyo. I wasn't actually at home at the time. I lived in an apartment complex on the 17th floor. Where I was at the time of the earthquake was at my guitar teacher's home. She's an elderly woman, and we were just finishing up the lesson. And we had some tea. We were just sitting down to have tea, and we're talking with me, my host family, and the lady, and we're talking, and I started hearing something, and I felt the table start to shake. And as I felt that, I told them, shh, be quiet, listen, do you hear that? And then you could start to feel the building shaking. It wasn't like a jolt at first. It was like slowly building up slowly building up to it. So. We were all staring at each other, because earthquakes happen all the time in Japan. So we're starting to wager, is it time to get out? Is it time to get out to the street? Is it time to go? And of course, I'm the foreigner, so I'm a little bit panicked, but they're still judging whether they should get out or not. Eventually, the building is starting to go back and forth as well, and at sporadic times. So I'm trying to get her down the stairs, as well as my homestay family. Some of the lessons I learned there. They actually had a dog inside the house. It was a conscious decision, get her out of the house, and then we stayed outside the house while the dog was inside. Okay,
so let's talk about some of the pictures that you shared with us, too.
That's actually outside. From the house I was in, we walked back to the apartment after everything started settling down. The pictures that you're seeing were from my apartment complex. What you're looking at is a train station. This is also this is now inside the house.
Are we seeing damage in there at all?
No damage yet.
Okay.
That's actually before the earthquake happened. That's all the things on the shelves.
Oh, okay. And then probably the next one is going to show some damage.
This photo is actually of a train station, because I'm in a hub in Ueno, in the center of Tokyo. This train station right here is actually to the airport. This line is actually maybe a quarter of a mile long. I actually walked along it, and this is the train I had to take to get away from Tokyo, maybe 4 or 5 days afterwards.
Wow. Okay, and our next picture?
This is more of the line. You wouldn't believe how quiet it was. Usually in this park, it's hustling, bustling, and this is actually where the Cherry Blossom Festival would have been held.
People in shock, stunned, lives up.
It's hard to see. Yeah. It was so quiet. This is inside the apartment. Being on the 17th floor of the complex, any shaking that you could feel on the ground is magnified up there. So when we got up, the TV display that you saw was actually moved maybe 2 or 3 feet away from the wall. Everything had fallen off, and there was a lot of damage from it.
Eric, before we run out of time, I want to see the picture of your host family, and you said you learned some valuable lessons from them in this whole story of yours.
Well, what I got, they gave me some tools, and please don't laugh, but this is a flashlight. You squeeze it. So he told me about it. If we're trapped anywhere, I can use the light to light my way, but also he gave me a whistle. And if just in case the building falls or collapses or anything around me collapses, I can use the whistle to announce my presence that I'm here.
It would be, that's valuable advice for anybody living in an area like Japan where there's earthquakes all the time. And finally, how does it feel to be back home?
It's really nice. It hurts to leave the family, and I've still been in constant contact. I've been Skyping with them, I think, every single day now, asking them how they're doing, what are they having for dinner, because I still feel a really deep connection with them. because they're so far away. And I just found out that the tap water's been tainted, and now that's not tainted. So it's hard to know if everything's actually okay.
Well, again, thanks for coming in and sharing your story. We're so glad that you're okay.
Yeah, thank you so
much.
much.
And keep us posted on what you learn with your host family and everything.
I will.
All right, it's time to go to break for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back, and Pete's in the kitchen cooking.